So we have different types of listing elements. We always all the time have different types of listing elements. So let's say we're giving elements like this. They give us this particular elements. They say 1, 2, 3, and 4. They say list those elements using roster method. To use them using roster method, you can name them A and put them in a curly brackets. You say 1, 2, 3, and 4. This when we list using what? Roster method. This is how you list elements using roster method. But with set builder we're explaining the characteristics of these elements. For example, I can say set A contains X. Set A contains X such that we describe what is X. What types of X are we talking about? What is this? What are these? This can either be natural numbers or it can be what? Can be whole numbers or can be what? Can be what? Real numbers or can be integers. So you choose the one that you think is more simple to explain. I can say what? I can say X is an element of what? Of natural numbers. Meaning these things are what? Are natural numbers for me. Then I tell them how many elements are there, because we know natural numbers are many. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So we cannot just say X an element of natural numbers. We don't be specific. We explain fully. So if I check these natural numbers of mine, they start from 1 and end from 4 only, which means I will tell them what? X is less or equal to 4. That is why I say what? This is how you list using set builder notation. But someone will write it differently. Someone will write it like this. Say set A equal to, and say like this, X, such that they say X an element of integer, because integers are numbers like this. Integers are numbers like -4, -5, -6, -7, negative. Sorry, I'm making a big mistake here. -3, -2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Understand? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so on. But if you can check here, you have to tell them those integers, they start from where and they end from where. You cannot just tell them those things are what? Are integers, then you keep quiet. Meaning you are saying that set contains all integers. Understand? So you must be specific with whatever they give to you. If you can check, integers, they start from negative until positive. But checking at my things, I must be specific. The numbers that they want are this one. Understand? And those numbers, I excluded these ones. Understand? And I excluded this one. I only took those ones. So I will explain that property. I will put X here. I will tell these are values of X according to my X here. Understand? So I'll tell them the value of X is greater or equal to 1. Is greater or equal to 1, and less or equal to 4. I will say less or equal to 4. So that is the thing that you must check before you choose your type of a number. Since well here you chose what? Integers. Understand? So let's talk about, let's say someone chose what? Chose whole numbers, which means I will say X is an X such that X is an element of what? Of whole numbers. I know whole numbers, they start where? They start from 0 going there until. Understand? And this 0 on my set A is not included, which means I can do what? I can exclude it. I can say x is greater or equal to 1, but less or equal to 4. When I say less or equal to, I include these numbers. Understand? And someone can write like this. Instead of doing this, can say x is greater than what? Than 0, and x is less than what? Than 5. The 5 that is here. Which means these things are not included. These brackets meaning what? Not included, which means I'm talking about this number, but I'm not including it. I take the number after it. That is a whole number. Understand? That is a what? That is a whole number. The number that is a whole number, not just any number. Understand? Even here, we can write it as like this. X is greater than what? Since well is an integer, is greater than what? 0, and is less than what? 5. We did not include the 5, which means we take the number behind 5. Understand? That's how you write using set builder notation and roster method. So let's talk about another thing. Let's say they gave you 2, 4, 6, 8, and so on. No, not and so on. They only give you those numbers. They say list this number using roster. When you use roster, you know it's very much easy. You put your what? Your curly bracket. You say 2, 4, 6, and 8 when you're using roster method. But when you're using what? When you're using set builder notation, you say A, you say equal to. You put like this. Instead of saying X, remember this thing is a multiple of what? Is a multiple of 2. You can say what? You can say 2x such that, understand? Such that x is an element of, understand? So we're talking about x. You cannot say x only. If you're not going to write like this, you say x, then you say what? If you check those numbers, what are those numbers? Understand? What are those numbers? Those numbers are what? Are even numbers, which means I cannot say element of even numbers. It's still fine if I say element of even numbers, but it's fine when also if you say what? X is even number. Understand? But even numbers are many. I have to be specific because even number are numbers like -6. They start from somewhere which I don't know. -4, -2, 0, 2, 4, 6, and so on. But then the numbers that they give me is only 2, 4, 6, and what? And 8, which I forgot to include. So which means I have to be strict. I will tell them x is an even number, but x is greater or equal to 2, which means I include this number, and x is less or equal to 8. I put my 8 here. Then I do what? I close the bracket. Then you might think that your answer is correct. Your answer is what? Is wrong.